It gives me immense pleasure to see you again in this session. Welcome learners. The title that we are going to see now is Hall's marriage theorem and its application. Yes, in this class we are going to talk about Hall's marriage theorem and its applications. Philip Hall was a well-known algebraist who grew to love mathematics as a young student. The important contribution of Hall to graph theory was Hall's marriage theorem, which has a lot of application mainly concerning the personal assignment problem, the construction of Latin squares, the elements of a 0, 1 matrix and the existence of a common transversal of two families of subsets of a given set. The last of these applications is of relevance in time labeling problems. In many applications of the real world problem, one wishes to find a matching in a bipartite graph G of x, y, which covers every vertex in X. Necessary and sufficient condition for the existence of such a matching were first given by Hall, the Hall's marriage theorem. Let me start with the definition of neighborhood of a set of vertices first. So, the definition says, let G be a bipartite graph with partite sets U and W such that cardinality of U less than or equal to cardinality of W. For a non-empty set X of U, the neighborhood n of X is the union of the neighborhoods n of X where each X belongs to capital X. Equivalently, n of X, that is n of capital X, consists of all those vertices of W that are the neighbors of one or more vertices in X. Before getting to the proof of Hall's marriage theorem, we need to recall some concepts. First, let us recall the definition of a matching in a graph first. So, a set of edges in a graph is called an independent set or matching if no two edges in the set are adjacent. The two ends of an edge in a matching M are said to be matched under M. Let us see the definition of a matching that covers a set of vertices in a graph. Matching covers a set of vertices if each vertex from the set is incident to an edge of the matching. Now, let us recall some definitions and examples from the last module. A matching M saturates a vertex V and V is said to be M saturated if some edge of M is incident with V, otherwise V is said to be M unsaturated. Let us recall the definition of perfect matching now. If each vertex of G is M saturated, then the matching M is said to be perfect matching. The definition of a maximum matching is as follows. A matching M is called a maximum matching if G has no matching M dashed with cardinality of M dash greater than cardinality of M. Let us see a remark now. Clearly, every perfect matching is a maximum matching. Let us keep on going with an example of a perfect matching now. So, you will be seeing a figure on the screen now. Consider the figure, that is consider the graph. So, here you can see the darker edges, I am going to consider that edges alone, that is V1 to V2, V4 to V3 and V7 to V8, V5 to V6, yes. Okay, so we consider those edges now, we put in a certain set and we call that set as M. It is a collection of independent lines, right. So, since it is a collection of independent lines, we will be calling that as a matching. So, here I am having a matching right now, and as you can see, V1 is belong to an edge V1, V2, right. So, consider the edge V1, V2, the end points of that particular edge is V1 as well as V2. So, we say V1 is M saturated as well as V2 is M saturated. So, here all the vertices in the particular graph G is M saturated, which means this is a perfect matching according to the definition. And let us recall the definition of maximum matching. So, maximum matching means we should not be able to find another matching with cardinality greater than the cardinality that we have right now. So, here in this matching we cannot add any line so that the resulting one set is again a matching. So, which means this is the maximum matching that we can have in this particular graph. The M that we consider is a perfect matching as well as maximum matching, and all the vertices are M saturated. Now, next we move to another example. So, here see the screen, there is another graph Here also the darker lines represents the lines that we are going to consider. The first one is V6, V7 and the second one V8, V1 and the edge V4, V3. So, here these three lines are independent lines because these three lines are not adjacent, they do not share a common point, common end point. So, these three lines are independent lines. So, if you put together those lines in a set, maybe M is called as matching. As you can see here, we cannot add any line, so that the resulting set is also a matching, which means here M is a maximum matching. Now, we are going to see the definition of an M alternating path in a graph. The definition goes like this: let M be a matching in G and M alternating path in G is a path whose edges are alternatively in E difference M and in M. Next, we shall recall the definition of M augmenting path in a graph. An M augmenting path is an M alternating path whose origin and terminus are M unsaturated. So, the example of an M alternating path in a graph is as follows. The path V5, V8, V1, V7, V6 in the graph with dark edges that we consider in the second example is an M alternating path. Let us see the example of an M augmenting path right now. The path V2, V8, V1, V7, V6, V5 in the graph that we considered in the first example is an M augmenting path. Now, let us recall the characterization of maximum matching due to Birch. It is a theorem 1. The statement is a matching M in G is maximum if and only if G contains no augmenting path. Recall that the number of elements in a set S is denoted by cardinality of S. Next, let us see the important theorem called Hall's marriage theorem. The marriage theorem proved in 1935 by Philip Hall answers the following question, known as the marriage problem. If there is a finite set of girls, each of whom knows several boys, under what condition can all the girls marry the boys in such a way that each girl marries a boy she knows? The solution of the marriage problem, that is, every k girls must know collectively at least k boys for all integers k satisfying 1 less than or equal to k less than or equal to m, where m denotes the total number of girls, is called as the marriage condition. It is necessary condition because if it were not true for a given set of k girls, then we could not marry the girls in that set. Surprisingly, the marriage condition also turns out to be sufficient. This is the content of Hall's marriage theorem. Next, let us see the graphical version of this theorem. Graphical representation of the marriage problem. The marriage problem can be represented graphically by taking G to be the bipartite graph in which the vertex set is divided into two disjoint sets V1 and V2 corresponding to girls and boys, and where each edge joins a girl to a boy she knows. This problem can then be expressed in graph theoretic terms in the form: if G is equal to G of V1, V2 is a bipartite graph, when does there exist a matching which covers every vertex in V1? Let us see a theorem now. Theorem 2. This is called as Hall's marriage theorem. This was proved in 1935. The statement goes: a bipartite graph G is equal to G of x, y has a matching which covers every vertex in X if and only if cardinality of n of S is greater than or equal to cardinality of S for all S which is a subset of X. Let us see the proof now. Let G is equal to G of x, y be a bipartite graph which has a matching M which covers every vertex in X. Let S be the subset of X. Then by assumption, the vertices in S are matched under M with distinct vertices in N of S. Thus, cardinality of N of S is greater than or equal to cardinality of S, and hence our result holds. Conversely, assume that cardinality of N of S is greater than or equal to cardinality of S for all S subset of X. Now, we have to prove G has a matching which covers every vertex in X. Suppose that G has no matching covering every vertex in X. Let M star be a maximum matching in G and let U be a vertex in X which is not covered by M star. Let G Z is a set consisting of vertices in V of G such that there exists an M star alternating paths from U to V. Since M star is a maximum matching by the theorem that we already dealt, G has no M star augmenting path and hence U is the only vertex in G that is not covered by M star. Set R is equal to X intersection Z and B is equal to Y intersection Z. You can see the figure on the screen. Clearly, U belong to R. Also, the vertices of R difference U are matched under M star with the vertices of B. Therefore, cardinality of B is equal to cardinality of R minus 1. Take this as equation 2, the first equality as equation 1. And N of R contains B, take this as equation 3. Also, every vertex in N of R is connected to U by an M star alternating path. Thus, B is the subset of N of R. So, by combining the equation that we already have, we have right now N of R is equal to B. Have this as a fourth equation. So, the equations 2 and 4 imply that cardinality of N of R is equal to cardinality of B, which is same as cardinality of R minus 1. Thus, the Hall's condition fails for the set S is equal to R, which is a contradiction. Hence, G has a matching which covers every vertex in X. Hence, we proved the theorem. Let us see another theorem, that is, the statement goes like this: every R regular bipartite graph where R is greater than or equal to 1 has a perfect matching. We shall see the proof now. Let G be an R regular bipartite graph with partite sets U and W. By counting the degrees of vertices in U and in W, we get the inequality R into cardinality of X is same as R into cardinality of Y, which implies cardinality of U is equal to cardinality of W. Thus, it means that every matching that covers X also covers Y. Let X be a non-empty subset of U. Suppose that cardinality of X is equal to K, that is greater than or equal to 1. Since every vertex of X has degree R in G, there are K R edges of G incident with vertices of X. Furthermore, since each vertex of W is incident with at most R of these K R edges, every vertex in N of X is incident with at most R edges, and so cardinality of N of X is greater than or equal to K, that is equal to cardinality of X. By the theorem that we already seen, G has a perfect matching. Now, we are going to see some applications of Hall's marriage theorem. In this section, we apply Hall's theorem to problems concerning the personal assignment problem and the construction of Latin squares. First, we will see personal assignment problem. Hall's marriage theorem also applies to more serious problems. For example, it gives a necessary and sufficient condition for the solution of a personal assignment problem in which applicants must be assigned to jobs for which they are variously qualified. In a company, n workers, say x1, x2, etc. xn, and m jobs j1, j2, etc. jm are available. Each worker is qualified for at least one of the jobs. Is it possible to assign one job for each worker for which he is qualified? This can be converted in graph theoretical terms. Construct a bipartite graph G with bipartition x is equal to set consisting of x1, x2, etc. xn, and y is a set consisting of jobs j1, j2, etc. jm, and there is an edge between xi and jk if and only if xi is qualified for the job jk. Now, the job assignment problem is, does G have a matching that saturates every vertex in X? Now, consider the example now. So, the example is 7 seniors, namely Ben, Don, Felix, June, Kim, Lyle and Maria are looking for positions after they graduate. So, for simplification, we will denote the names with the first alphabet. For example, if Lyle, we will denote that as L. The University Placement Office has posted open positions for an accountant, consultant, editor, programmer, reporter, secretary and teacher. So, these are the jobs. For a convenience, we will be denoting the first alphabet. For example, if teacher, we will denote that as T. Each of the 7 students has applied for some of these positions. The positions that I am going to tell is B, that is B is applied for the C and D, the job C and D, and similarly D is applied for A, C and P, S and T. F is applied for C and R, J applied for C, E, R and K, A, E, P, S and L applied for the jobs A and R. Finally, M applied for the jobs P, R, S and T. So, now the question is it possible for each student to be hired for a job for which he or she has applied? We shall see the solution now. This situation can be modeled by the bipartite graph G as given in the figure, you can see it on the screen, with one partite set U is equal to the set consisting of B, D, F, J, K, L, M, that is the set of all persons, is a set of students, and the other partite set W is equal to A, C, E, P, R, S, T is a set of positions, that is set of jobs that is available. A vertex U belong to U is joined to a vertex W that is belong to W if U has applied for position W. You can see the figure. So, the answer to the question is no, since Ben, Felix, June and Lyle have only applied for some or all the positions of consultant, editor and reporter. Thus, the cardinality of n of set consisting of B, F, J, L is equal to 3, which is less than 4, that is equal to cardinality of the set consisting of B, F, J and L, which does not satisfy Hall's marriage theorem. Thus, not all of these 4 students can be hired for the jobs for which they have applied. Hence, not all 7 students can be hired for the 7 positions for which he or she has applied. Now, we will discuss about Latin squares. An m by n Latin rectangle is an m by n matrix M, that is the matrix small mij, whose entries are integers satisfying the condition. First condition is 1 less than or equal to mij less than or equal to n, and the second condition, no 2 entries in any row or in any column are equal. We note that the 2 conditions, that is condition 1 and condition 2, imply that m is less than n. If m is equal to n, then the Latin rectangle is a Latin square. Now, I will give you an example that makes you familiar with this concept. We will consider an example now. So, you can see a rectangle here, that is a 3 by 5 Latin rectangle. It is on the screen now. Here, all the entries of this matrix lies between 1 and 5. Let us discuss another example. I am going to give you an example for Latin square. So, this is a 5 by 5 Latin square. The example is on the screen, you can see now. Given an m by n Latin rectangle with m less than n, when can we adjoin nm new rows so that a Latin square is produced? Surprisingly, the answer is always. Let us see a theorem now. Let m be an m by n Latin rectangle with m less than n. Then, m can be extended to a Latin square by the addition of n m new rows, that is n minus m new rows. Now, let us see the following problems. The first problem is a bipartite graph G has a perfect matching if and only if cardinality of n of s is greater than or equal to cardinality of s for all s which is a subset of V of G. We shall see the solution now. Let m be a perfect matching and let s be a subset of V of G. Vertices of s are matched to distinct vertices of n of s by m. So, cardinality of n of s is greater than or equal to cardinality of s for all s which is a subset of V of G. Conversely, let cardinality of n of s is greater than or equal to cardinality of s for all s which is a subset of V of G. Then, cardinality of n of a is greater than or equal to cardinality of a for all a which is a subset of x. By Hall's theorem, the graph thus has a matching m that saturates x. Thus, cardinality of y is greater than or equal to cardinality of x. Now, cardinality of n of y is greater than or equal to cardinality of y, that implies cardinality of x is greater than or equal to c into cardinality of y. Hence, cardinality of y is same as cardinality of x and thus M is a perfect matching, hence we proved. Let us see another problem. Here we are going to determine necessary and sufficient conditions for the complete bipartite graph K m comma n to have a perfect matching. We shall see the solution now. Assume that m is equal to n and let the vertex sets of K m comma n be V1 is equal to U1 comma U2 etc. Um and V2 is equal to the set consisting of the vertices V1, V2 etc. Vm. Here you can note down. So, we should have here V1, V2 etc. Vn, since we have taken n as equal to m. So, instead of n we can replace m. Then the set consisting of U1, V1, U2, V2 etc. Vm is a perfect matching. Conversely, assume that K m comma n have a perfect matching and let m is less than or equal to n. Since each edge in a matching must join a vertex of V1 to a vertex of V2, there can be at most m edges. If m is less than n, some vertex in V2 would not be a part of any edge in the matching, which is a contradiction. Thus, m is equal to n. Thus, K m comma n has a perfect matching if and only if m is equal to n. Let us see another problem. Give an example of a graph with an even number of vertices and no perfect matching. So, consider the graph is on the screen now. The graph has 42 vertices. So, perfect matching would have 21 edges. Using two labels x and y, we obtain a bipartition of the graph. Partite set x consists of the red color vertices. This is an independent set of size 21 and the remaining vertices also form an independent set y of size 21. Let S be the subset of x consisting of the 11 red colored unboxed vertices in the right half of the graph. The neighbors of vertices in S are the 10 boxed vertices in the right half of the graph. Thus, cardinality of n of S is less than cardinality of S, hence Hall's condition does not hold. Thus, by Hall's marriage theorem, the graph that we considered does not contain a perfect matching. Let us see another problem. Here we have to give an example of a graph with cardinality of n of S is greater than or equal to cardinality of S for all S which is subset of V but has no perfect matching. Consider an odd cycle. Clearly, cardinality of n of S is greater than or equal to cardinality of S for all S which is subset of V. But odd cycle does not have a perfect matching since it has an odd number of vertices. Let us see another problem. Here we have to give an example of a graph that does not satisfy Hall's condition. So, consider the partite set U consisting of the elements B or vertices B, D, F, J, K, L, M in the bipartite graph G which is shown in the figure that does not satisfy Hall's condition. Since the subset X consisting of B, F, J, L of U has the property that cardinality of n of x is less than cardinality of x. Can refer the figure which is on the screen. Conclusion. Dear learners, we are now in the end of this session. In this session, we learnt about the definition of matchings, M alternating path and augmenting path, definition of perfect matching as well as maximum matching. We dealt with an example and then we discussed about Hall's marriage theorem and its application. We have dealt with some problems also. So, I hope this session will be useful to you. I would encourage you to do some more examples in this concept. I also encourage you to do some quiz and assignments which is given in the module. Thank you.